Ask them if they have any new CDs. I don't have any new CDs yet. All right.
Good morning. So my name is Richard Bremer, and this is my daughter Sofia Bremer. And so Sofia is going to be playing several tunes on the Hardanger Fiddle for you this morning. And we live in Eugene. And Sofia is learning the Hardanger Fiddle. She's a violinist and started at 3 years old. She'll tell you a little bit about that and a little bit about the fiddle, kind of a little bit about what Amy was talking about. Also, Sofia is a member of the Hardanger Fiddle Association of America. And so there are only probably about maybe 250 players in the whole United States that play this particular instrument. And so it's important to keep this tradition going and keep this art going as part of Norwegian and Scandinavian culture. And so through their association, they have a young student loan program where actually Lynn Berg, who lives in Eugene, makes Hardanger fiddles, and he makes full sizes, but he's also started to make the half size and 3/4 size so that younger, smaller students, younger people can play on those and learn. Oftentimes, violinists start when they're very young, like Sofia started when she's 3 years old, and she's in a program at the University of Oregon. And so, you know, someone who gets into a college program and a music program to play music, many of them have been playing an instrument since they're very, very young, putting a lot of time. Sofia, we spent a lot of Saturdays and other days over at the University of Oregon for practices and so forth. So through the HFAA, the Hardanger Fiddle Association, they loan her the instrument. They can be very expensive to purchase, but this is an effort to, and then Sofia has a mentor, a teacher. His name is David Elger Boxberg, who meets with her bi-weekly to give her lessons, and he's doing it for free, which is very, very nice. So I'm going to turn it over to Sofia, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about herself.
So my name is Sofia Bremer. I'm 11 years old, and so part of the reason I got started with Hardanger Fiddle is my Norwegian heritage, and I started playing it because it sounded like a really cool opportunity, and since I already played the violin, it would be a lot easier, and it turned out to be really fun. My fiddle was made by Lynn Berg, who I know from church, and the craftsmanship that's put into making this instrument is really cool. The drawings on it and the carvings on the skull is really cool. I've been playing Hardanger Fiddle for two years, and I'm a member of the HFAA, Hardanger Fiddle Association of America. And last year, I attended a workshop at Pacific Lutheran University, and I got to do a master class with Loretta Kelly, who's the president of the HFAA. My mentor is David Elger Boxberg, and it's really fun going to his house and learning about how to play the fiddle and different techniques, and also Norwegian just facts and stuff. David plays for many folk dances along with his wife in a group called Fossagrumen. Okay, so the fiddle has 4 strings on the top, sometimes it has 5, but it has 4 sympathetic strings under, so that's part of what makes it ring. It rings for about maybe a minute more, and then it kind of sounds like 2 instruments, but you're also playing multiple notes at the same time. So I've been playing the violin for 8 years with Suzuki strings at the Community Music Institute, and now I play in a chamber players quartet. So I started that at the beginning of this year. I also like to play the ukulele and the guitar, and next year at school I'm starting guitar lessons. So we're going to tell you some information about the songs and play them.
Okay, so Sophia's going to be playing 5 songs for today. And one of the things that's interesting about some of the traditional music is many of the traditional players never read music. They played by ear and learned songs, and they were passed down and learned at dances or social gatherings and gatherings of musicians. And they didn't maybe know how to read music or write it down. And so in the early part of the 20th century, many of these traditional songs were preserved by writing down and putting them to written form. And so 3 of the songs that are going to be played, which are Afstjingen Ganger, Ringnessen, and Buchenhan Halligen, are all played by Newt Boone and written by Loretta Kelly. Newt Boone was a famous Hardanger fiddle player from Norway who was instrumental in really preserving a lot of traditional music. So the first song is Afstjingen Ganger. The meaning of the name is the departure. The tune originates from Hjartdal, Telemark, and can be found in Telemarksspel, a recording by Newt Boone, which is a famous recording for Hardanger fiddle players, and a book by Loretta Kelly based on Newt's recording. Newt learned this tune from Olav Nordbo, another famous predecessor and player. Sophia's.
That was the first song I learned to play Hardanger fiddle.
In case you didn't hear, Sophia said that's the first song that she learned to play on the Hardanger fiddle. The next song is Ringnessen. And you may recognize this song. It was played previously by Amy at a different tempo than Sophia is going to play. But in Norway, this style of music is played for a type of partner dancing called a Rhineland. And this name may suggest the idea of an origin in the area of the Rhine, meaning that it could be from Germany or Bohemia. This specific tune comes from Western Norway. And oftentimes in different parts of Norway, there are different tunes and different styles of play that are common and unique for different areas. And different styles of playing evolved, and just like different unads and different dress evolved because of the isolation that people had geographically from each other. And so this is Ringnessen.
Thank you.
Sophia's next song is called Holdervals. This song is usually played in a trio and can be played in many different keys. It's often played on the harp. For many hundreds, even well over 1,000 years, Norwegians have believed in the underjordisk, or the netherworld creatures. The word Huldra comes from the Old Norse word Huldafolk, which means concealed people or hidden folk. This refers also to their otherworldliness and their power and visibility, or in some cases, their unchristian behavior. Many Huldra pictures are of young, beautiful girls, but with tails. Sometimes they hide the tails, and sometimes they don't. The Huldra have great powers and must not be treated unkindly. In many cases, they have done great deeds to help local people with their crops, animals, etc. This tune that Sofia plays comes from an area called Otedal and is near the town of Baga. This version of the tune comes from Ola Aiden, who lived in the late 1800s, and he learned this song from his grandfather, Ola Brata. She practices more on her violin than the fiddle. Probably, daily, probably half hour to an hour. Sometimes skipping a day, depending on what we have going on. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it also gets more intense when she's getting ready for a concert or a recital and so forth.
It shows.
The next song is called Bukahan Halligan. The meaning of the name means the ram's horn Holland. The song was passed on through 3 generations, from Osmund to Anders to Nudbrun. final piece is a bridal march. The Norwegian name is Brumadsfratselgen. And one thing to say about this would be played with the bridal party marching on the way to a church for the wedding. And interestingly, the Hardanger fiddle and other fiddles have a little bit of a storied history in Norway and other parts of Europe in regards to churches. There was a time in the 1800s during a religious revival where fiddles and Hardanger fiddles were seen as sinful instruments, and many of them were destroyed. And people and fiddlers were not allowed at all to play in a church because it encouraged wild dancing and drunken revelry and that type of thing, and intermixing of men and women in inappropriate ways. And so some of the traditions were lost, but there were many people who preserved their instruments, preserved the traditions outside of the church and religious setting. And so this is what we have today. But this particular song is written about a traditional wedding in Norway. And a traditional wedding includes a procession down the streets while the bride and groom are carried, usually in some sort of carriage, and end up at the church where their wedding ceremony takes place.
Thank you. Can I take your picture? I haven't gotten the one that I wanted. You are amazing. Okay, I'm going to go on this way because I keep getting that light behind you. You are so darling. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Great job.